Alchemy Network. You have embarked on a journey of unbelievable resources and talent and understanding. Your body thanks you, your mind embraces you, and all your thoughts are trying, willing, and going into balance with self. Open that portal to the next galaxy, the next universe, the next dimension. Along this trip, our captain extraordinaire is Dr. Cicely D. Engine. Allow her to guide you, introduce you, and embrace our depth, the great resources from the unknown to the known, to what we thought, to remove the illusion that you have about yourself, your surroundings, and your vortex of the matrix in which you live. Let's go and embark on this journey through Alchemy Network. Dr. Cicely D. Angela will be pruning and proving with you alone with her illustrious guest that she has presented on this luxury network of Food Alchemy Network. So without further ado, welcome to Food Alchemy Network and welcome our guest and our illustrious host, Dr. Cicely D'Angelo. Blessing.
Hello out there at the Darkland. This is Dr. D from Food Alchemy Network. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling rested? Are you feeling great? Are you moving and grooving to the groove? Are you getting ready for a big date? If not, and you want to join me, sit down and relax. I hope to take your calls. I hope to speak with you very candidly about tonight, the subject we're calling After Dark, what mature individuals, mature, 18 and plus only, Saturday night. And if you're bold enough and you have a question you want to ask, call 563-999-93007. And we'll be glad to take your phone call. So let me get commercial out the way tonight. Let's see. Let's do that.
Manifestation, the rules of making your dream into reality. Each and every day, or the exercise, the tools, the rules of adapting and being able to see your reality before your eyes evolve each and every night as you awake to a new reality of which you choose. The book, Manifestation Workbook by Dr. Cicely D'Angelo, will help you, guide you to your dreams that are now reality that you seek. Exercises that exercises the body, mind, and soul, the senses it covers, for you to get in touch with the inner you of your dream world and put it in the real world, your reality, to walk the walk you so choose. The book, again, Manifestation Workbook by Dr. Cicely D'Angelo. Available on Amazon in hardback and ebook. Available in Barnes & Noble, hardback and Nook. And also can be ordered from Dr. Cicely D'Angelo, PhD, off of Facebook, her fan page. Reach out on these portals of being able to get the book to make your dream reality today. Manifestation Workbook by Dr. Cicely D'Angelo.
Hello. So we played a commercial, so I'm doing good today. So for all you out there in wonderful land, we're going to be very candid about what's going on, what we see, what we know, and how to make it better in our lives called that little thing with these three little words, sex. That is sex, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of us have this fear around sex. We think it's dirty. We think it's uncouth, only made for procreation. That is it. Sex has nothing else but that's a dead end of creation. But sex can be very beautiful with the wonderful person of understanding and connection and blessings. And understanding your partner and how you connect with them, how to have sex before you have sex is up here in your brain. That little nugget that you have that has all that squishy stuff, it's a brain. You use that when you're thinking of something wonderful, but also it plays a role in our life that can cause some trauma, as we talked about last week. So if you don't know what we talked about, you might want to go to YouTube and find out what we listened to last week about sex and the trauma that it can have, not only on your sexual function, but your mind, and the trauma that drama that you experience has effect on you sometimes a lifetime, unless you link up with the right people to help you clear it out of your system, out of your mind, and give it healing thoughts and replace it with beautiful images and memories in your conscious mind. That's something to think about. So I was thinking about, I've taken a lot of classes on Tantra, sacred sexuality, Shilakwa, and different aspects of trying to learn to better myself, because I myself was a prude when it came to sexuality and didn't understand. I just thought, as I shared before, I just thought like the color silly. If y'all remember the color purple, Silly would lay there and she said, "Mister, just climb on top of me and just do his business." That's what I thought sex was supposed to be like. I didn't understand that I was supposed to release endorphins and serotonins and things in my body, the chemicals from great pleasure. I didn't understand that. I thought it was just an action that you did. And if you didn't feel anything, it was okay. It wasn't like I shared with you guys that someone told me, all you do is lay there. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Number one, I didn't even know how to please myself. I didn't know how to make myself comfortable with me. I wasn't comfortable with my own body because I was ashamed of me being a woman. And I know you're like, what? Yeah, I was a tomboy, if you will. I grew up being a tomboy, doing everything guys did, play football on the street with my dad, riding a motorcycle, all those masculine things that people say are masculine, but they're not. That was just part of me being a strong young woman growing up in that era of who I was going to be. So I didn't think about being prissy, I called it, being a girly girl. That was not me. I was not a girly girl. My nose was in the book. So going back to explain, I had to explore. And it wasn't until I was actually writing for my thesis that it opened me up. No, let me go back. It wasn't until I got with Queen Afua's group and we were doing the Sacred Woman training. And I had to basically look at my vagina. I had to look at my yoni now. Back then it was a vagina, but now it's a yoni. It's a flower. It blossoms. It gives love. It gives light. It brings in the wand and it just does all kind of magic tricks, if you will. So I thought about it different. And that was due to my partner. And he used to say, all you women want men to go and have oral sex with you, but you yourself don't even know what your vagina look like. And I'm like, oh, wow. At the time, I hadn't learned the word yoni. I didn't know it was sacred. I just knew it was just some part of me that I just washed. I kept it clean and went on about my business. Put on my underwear and that was it. And something and just go get your yearly checkup and someone's looking at it. That's all I thought it was. I didn't realize it was more to it than that until we started exploring. And that was the hardest part for me to get into that mood and understanding. And he was the one that opened it. And of course, he was being older, which helped me a lot, loving each and every part of me and showing me that it was more than that. Now, mind you, I had two kids. I had two children, but I still did not look at my yoni. I still did not treasure her for what she was because I thought, it's just there. It's just automatic. I didn't give her love. I didn't, when I washed her, I just washed her, just rinsed it off, pat it dry, and kept it going. I didn't think to take massage oils, essential oils, rub her down, take a brush and comb or, have hair, or really even give her a nice little haircut, or keep her bald and do the Brazilian wax, or keep it trimmed or laser. These are not things that I discovered or knew about. It wasn't until I had to do the exercise of getting the mirror and actually looking and having a talk with her. I'm like, wow, that's what you look like. Wow. Okay. Okay. And I felt good. And it was like that was empowering to me, empowering. And what you think, looking and talking to your yoni is empowering. It's like, ooh, it brings you joy when you think about it. So with that thought, it was like, now what are you going to do, girl? You like her, this is me talking to my yoni, like, you're not feeling too well. So your yoni speaks back, when it's not feeling well, or, you've been introduced to something, that you're not supposed to, it might produce a little yeast, or it might be a little wetter than others. It talks to you in a way. And I never, now mind you, I was also had been in the military. So we had to take showers as women together. And I never looked at anybody's things or stuff. You're in the shower, you're taking a shower, getting out. Again, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know yonis came in different flowers or ranges of variety. Just like I didn't know lingams came in different varieties and bouquets, if you will. Bouquets. Um, I didn't get that. I didn't know that. So these are things that in my life I discovered. And listening to the older women in my family make this distinct measure of talking about sex and what it was that, children were set to the side. They didn't talk about sex around the children. That's just a no-no. They didn't really having sex talk with them to let them know it is healthy, that boys are going to have wet dreams. Girls are going to get horny. Um, that was in the church where the nuns in the Catholic Church, masturbation is wrong, 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 wrong. You smack across the wrist. You go to the Father. You say, your confessions, and you know what I mean? And you say this. And I was a girl that even prior to that, I would go to the confessional and I would tell them, you know what? I'm so horny. I'm so horny because I was agreeing to abstinence. I'm not going to have sex because I'm not supposed to. And it's, want to be like I had in my mind. That's something that was programmed or seen in me. I went with that. So I held out and was not having sex. Yeah, I would date and tell them that I'm waiting to get married and I'm not going to do that and that's not right. And so you see, as you mature, and I say that very well, that when you get mature and you have an understanding of your body and who you are, it gets better. Your yoni is like fine wine, if you think about it like that. And the penis gets splendor if you know what to do with that lingam, if you know what I mean. So when you're educating and understanding your body, their body, it brings harmony to that act that you perform. How do you sit down and what age you might think it's appropriate to talk to your children about sex? And how do you help your children understand about their body changing and not freak them out? Now, me, I'm a researcher. I like to research. I read. That's the nerd in me, if you will, because I want to understand. And as I'm doing research, I'm going to come across things. And being an ordained minister, which I am, and doing my study, I wanted to connect spirituality and sex. And I was on that path for many, many years. Now, mind you, I became spiritually awoken, I want to say around 2007, meaning I loved my body. I was not afraid. I did not mind walking around nude, didn't mind my children walking around nude. I just thought that was freedom expression because there was nothing sexual in my eyes about it. And I've been to some nude resorts. I had been to some nude nude resorts. What was it? It was like my friend lived in this nude condominiums in Florida. And they walked around nude and they had a restaurant that was nude and the pool was nude. Everything's nude. Everybody's walking around. And when you get to see it so much, you don't think about the sexuality of it, of, engaging, because the body, you look at beautiful and everybody got different shapes and different sizes. And like I said, it's a bouquet. Your body's a bouquet of what you feel or how you approach. How do you come across? And are you that wallflower or are you the rose that blossoms? I think sometimes I am a lotus. You never know what color I might be. You never know when I might show up. But when I'm there, it's like, whoa, I'm there. And you know it. Without a doubt, you know it. So I felt confident in that the way I walked and the way I presented myself, that I had a better understanding. So I came awake. I attended a lot of different things and events and wanted to learn. So I wanted a better understanding, like what is the BSDM part? What is this? And what is that? What is a dungeon? What is just all these things I wanted to know? I was like, I wanted that information. So I sought it out and they became good friends. I met some voyagers, exhibitionists. I met some people that were bi. I met some people that were swingers. I met some people that were just in their element of freedom. Because once you get to a certain part in your life, it is actually freedom for you because you're not bombarded like we are so bombarded in the West of America by clothes and anything sexual, it's perverted, but it's not. It's a beauty. My son and my daughter got exposed because they went to Italy and Rome. And let me tell you, they have these cartoons on that women, their beauty their nurturing beauty of breasts were out, and they were hanging out, and they had these little tassels and they were swinging them around. And it was like, okay, it's time to have to talk with my son. I had to explain what it was because that was not something you see in the US. And then going to the museum and seeing Michelangelo, Da Vinci, all of these about the body. The body was nothing to be ashamed of. And what we covered here in the West is not what they covered over there in Italy. They had voluptuous women with hips and breasts and legs and arms, and they were voluptuous. They were beautiful. You know, that was the ideal woman, not Twiggy, not someone that is thin. That is not the ideal body. And I love that. My children love that. And they got to see that and see and interact in that culture of actually going there and seeing. It made my daughter feel so happy she didn't want to leave. But not only that, is just the love of being able to be free. And it's other things, you know, that we liked about that. And that just like, okay, I did have to talk to my son. My son didn't think nothing of it. I mean, because he got used to it by like, oh, wow. And then he came back home and he said, Mom, you know, why don't we have cartoons like that? And I said, because Americans are not ready for that type of energy. They have not. America is still a new country. Italy and other countries are older. And unfortunately, the older countries are looking to the baby, which is America, to be the next greatest thing. And like we're the best thing since white rice. But we have a lot of maturing to do. We're still birthing. We're still in adolescence, meaning, you know, the United States. Okay, so let's get back to the sex. So with that being in mind and me explaining to him, we did have a talk about sex and what it looks like and a woman's body looks like and a male that, you know, so he would not grow up feeling any shame that some men's lingams were different than other men. There were circumcised, uncircumcised, what it looked like, and not to be ashamed. And that's fine. My daughter, the same thing. I told her same thing. Every woman's yoni is not going to look the same. And I'm going to show you some pictures getting towards the end of the night so you can understand what I'm talking about. And I think what I'm going to do every chance that I get is show you pictures of different lingams, different yonis for you to get an understanding. Every yoni is a pretty yoni. Every penis is a pretty penis or a handsome penis, if you want to, if you will. Now, the thing is how that works. If they know how to use it or they don't know how to use it, and the care and the maintenance care that they take of each one. If they're uncircumcised and circumcised. If a woman if she know how to clean and not clean. Because we take for granted that some parents explain about sex and how to take care of their female yoni and their body. Some parents just give them a pad and say, let's go. And that's for a woman that you figure it out. And I shared your story, you know, my story. So again, go back. So I want you to know, understanding this, that it needs to be broken down sometimes for young ladies. How do you explain that she's going through changes? How do you explain her hormones are going out of whack? That she's going to feel a little bit more, that her chest is now becoming a breast and they're changing shape and form and how they're filling out. How do you tell her, do you believe in wearing a bra or not wearing a bra? What is healthy? What is not healthy? What is the world telling? They all need to wear bras. And you know my views on that. So there's a certain thing. Men Some men wear tidy whities. Some men wear boxers or boxer briefs. So these are things that are important when you're talking to your young one about their body changes, and let them know some maintenance care they have to do for their yoni and their lingam. Sit down and make it a loving and friendly, not intimidating, because when it's time for them to engage and their hormones are going and like their mood, they're moody, they're not understanding. It's those hormones. Some women get PMS. They get moody, they crave stuff. They go through that too. Boys as well as girls, and they're having wet dreams and their bed is wet and they're not understanding, they're confused. These are conversations we need to be having with our children to make them understand this is normal. And if they have to go in and take care of themselves, it's okay. Because I remember a mate of mine's at the time that I was with, he said, you know what, when I was younger and I was a teenager, all a win had to do, and it'd be like, power to the people. And I laughed. I was like, wow. Now, women, young ladies, when they're in adolescence, their hormones is feeling, they don't know what to do. They just know that maybe rubbing on something feels good, or, like, ooh, that feels good. So the sensation of something rubbing against their clitoris. And as it rums, it bubbles up and fills up and it swells. So they're like, oh my gosh. But they don't know what that is. They don't know what's going on. It's pleasure they're experiencing. I love, no, that's okay. That's going to happen. Okay. You got to learn that's going to happen. And what can they do? So there's like, oh, well, if you tell them about sex, they're going to be more promiscuous. No, has been proven the opposite. The more you hide something from individuals, the more they want to know. Now, different cultures, as I explored, have different sexology, if you will, of paradise. In Japan, they have these caricatures of sexuality that on paper that goes back as far as Ming Dynasty, of different positions and different ways and different aspects of sexuality. And these pictures give them some kind of insight on sex and how to please the person they're with. And it helps them. And also in China too. What is another culture? They have it. Some other cultures have it as well. In Kemet, they have some different things of understanding about sexuality and understanding the body and understanding the moon and understanding how the hormones and get them in balance. So you see in cultures, as you see over the waters, are far advanced, that we are a baby nation, but a baby nation is actually trying to be the grown up. They're trying to put on the big boys' underwear. You know, we'll talk about that on another show. But these things that I say to you that are important for you to understand, that we have to raise mature little people to be mature adults, and not to hide, but to sit down and have discussion with them about their body, about the changes, how to help them. And also the fact is how to use a condom. Females, how to use a female condom. You know, there's different birth controls out there. Some people are put on birth controls because their hormones unbalanced. That's something that you probably need to work with. If your hormones unbalanced, that you need to work with a person in that field to help you get your body in sync and unbalanced. And women, you need to talk to your girls if they're getting heavy cycles, how they can help themselves with that, because that is not normal to get a heavy cycle. That means you're unbalanced. There's something in your body off key. Then there's some women that never have a cycle or never was exposed to a cycle. So they wouldn't know what it feels like. Those are the women I tell to please get checked out and understand what's going on in your body. Because if you want to have children, you need to make sure everything is in alignment so that you can do so. You don't want to wait until you get older and then you can't have kids because you didn't get the proper care and the nutrients you did while you were young. So that's why talk to our kids early so we can prevent some of these things that going on, like extra hormones and endometriosis and fibroids and cysts and other things that come in contact with their body to make their body not heal and be able to produce um, children and their future children if they want. So if they know that they're bleeding heavy, they know what to do. The things are such so simple as what kind of sanitary hygiene you teach your children to use, and when do you use it, and how often do you change it. These are very important. How often do you change your sanitary napkin, tampons, and explain the dangers of using these and the effects that they can have on the body. The tampons I grew up with didn't use tampons growing up. I remember on the box that said it caused tox syndrome, and they would your body would get toxic from using them and having them up there too long. Also cause a lot of reproductive problems and feminine issues that later women later on life had. But also birth control caused that as well, stopping some women not able to have children and so forth. I mean, it's a lot that we take for granted that we don't understand about our bodies. So you need to talk to them whether it's a diva cup. I think there's it's a silicone cup. And I think one day I'll bring some of this stuff on so you understand. A tampon, pads. They even have these underwear that you can wear. So there's so many different things, but you got to figure out what is best for that individual's body that works with them in their makeup and what they can do to wear that. Like how often do you change your pad? How often do you take out your tampon? How often do you dump your cup? How do you go about dumping your diva cup when you're out? You know what I mean? How do you prepare for that? Or do when you just have your cycle, you stay home? No, there's different things that you can do when you're using a diva cup. And got to be prepared if you're out because if you're out, you don't want to get out of a stall and dump it in the toilet and scrooting all over and popping it back up because dirty things and touching stuff. So these are things that we need to explain to our young people and some even adults of what they can do for their body for them to be able to understand how to use a diva cup, how to properly use a tampon. And I would buy the tampons if you're going to do them on chlorine, no bleach, no chemicals, no fiberglass. You'd be surprised at the stuff that read your ingredients and know your company for everything used. Same thing with pads. Those gel pads, yes, they're made to last long, but what kind of damage does it do to your body in the long run? Same thing with diapers. That's why I did cloth diapers because of the effects they have. So you understand, we are being trained we're trained to just ignore these things. But if you ignore these things, they can turn into bigger things. But if you're eating right, you're balanced right, and certain times of the month, you want to be in balance, what you're supposed to eat better. You might need, when you cycle, more omega fatty acids. You might need more iron. These are different things your body's craving as it's detoxing and getting rid of and releasing that egg because it's time. So these are things that are important to know and telling them, look, it's okay if you want a soda, stuff like that, but not make it a habit, or you want a piece of chocolate cake. Okay, because it's time of that month. And you're moody. I might let you get away with being moody, but it's not going to happen too often. You know what I mean? Not being disrespectful, but also understand that their hormones is changing and they don't know how to react. And we need to sit down and talk to them and tell them it's okay. Give them a hug. Make a cup of hot tea and sit them down and maybe show them, if they're feeling bad, get them a hot water bottle, put it on their stomach, massage them, show them what they can do for themselves to make themselves better. Maybe also get some different herbal remedies besides the chamomile tea, the lavender tea, or whatever you need to make them feel better, getting better. Gentlemen, guys go through that as well. When they're out here pre-ejaculating and having wet dreams, what do? Don't make them feel embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, clean the sheets or do something with the sheets, or explain, you know what, son, here's your soap, go in there, put there, and have them, give them extra sheets. Don't make it a big thing. Don't embarrass them. Talk to them. You're going to explain your hormones are going through something, and you see a pretty girl and you want to talk to them. These are real talks. Talk real with them so they'll understand for them what their body is going through. But let's move on of understanding the beautiful body of what it is. Let's understand that the body, when we come together, it creates it actually is a union. When you come together, you interlock with the person that you actually are engaging with. Your yoni, your lingam, your yoni, his lingam is intertwined with you. And as he releases not only the essence of his soul, but he releases his seed. And basically, the seed is trying to find a place to plant the seed of birth. And your hormones, you need to know how to do the rhythm of, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do the rhythm method for birth control, you need to know when your body is working, because during, maybe before your cycle is about to come, you're extra horny. Then after your cycle, you're real horny. So, plan this accordingly with your mate. And in between the time you're, fertile, know when you're fertile and infertile. This is also taking a note and writing down your body and your emotions. When women that are having infertility issue, the first thing they start doing is taking their temperature every day and writing it down. And it's to know when you're ovulating, when you're not ovulating, when is the best time to have sex. They even have little apps that help them do this so that they can be prepared. Gentlemen, you need to know what not to do. You don't need to be riding on something hot because that messes with your sperm count. You also don't need to be drinking drinks like Mountain Dew and things that have really, really a lot of caffeine, because they're not good for your sperm count. These are things that we need to know and talk about that are healthy. So they have, like I said, them wearing boxer briefs is healthy versus tighty whitey that keeps everything scrunched up and hot, So that's just some insight of what's going on. As y'all can see, my little one she's having a little thing going. You know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a commercial so I can get this fixed. So hold on.
Have you seen those truffles that sit on the table over there? They're made with sugar and spice and everything nice. No, no, no. They're made with the goodness and sweetness of all things natural. From cacao to agave to herbs you never heard from distant lands that helps the body and bring the body in balance with itself. Have you ever had that experience? If you would like an orgasmic experience, try the truffle organic that are vegan and kosher friendly, created by Dr. D. Run out and get it today. Dr. D. AKA Dr. D'Angelo. Try them. Go on her page and order a truffle alchemy experience.
All right, in that. It is like, what in the world? So, okay, getting back to that. So, Kava kava balls and truffles. I love them. I love my kava and truffles. It's very relaxing, very helpful, and also gives you a kick, and it also takes away some pain issues. So I like get my kava when I was in Hawaii. That. So let's finish what I was talking about. Now I'm going to share my screen with you, and I am going to let you see some pictures that I've basically brought to give you a broad sense of being able to understand what there is like. These, I hope you can see it. Okay. These are basically lingams. They're different lingams, different sizes. So we're going to keep going. And they tell you, as I said, I'm very serious about my study. These are in my books, and this is a great friend of mine. I was in her video um, talking about me actually doing some courses. So this is one particular gentleman, what it looks like, what it can look like. His that's not flated, okay, and it doesn't have an erection, not stimulated. This is another gentleman, stimulated, of course. This is unstimulated from him. These are different sizes, and he's circumcised, of course. Okay, this is a vagina or yoni, tapuli, they call it. And this is what a tapuli can look like. Same one. This is a different. So they have different ones, as you can see on the screen, and they have different names from in Shilakwekatosha Tapuli. And it helps. They have different sensations, different orgasms that you can experience, and different excrete different lubrications at the same time. Same thing for a man. Each lingam actually, when it excretes, has a different type of sperm. No sperm that leaves the vessel to flower the yoni is the same. It has different smells, have different textures, have different consistencies, has different taste. Same thing with a woman. Her yoni has excretes different fluids, different tastes, different textures, and also, yes, women do ejaculate or express emerita, which is the correct terminology. They do that. And it's has different for each woman. And when you're wet, that's something as a woman, when you're wet and you're excited, you produce this lubrication. But with that, women can begin, when they get really comfortable with their body, they can begin to squirt. And I mean, really squirt. I used to believe at that time that it was it was okay. I cannot do that. Hold on for 1 second. It's telling me to view on the screen. I don't know why it's not streaming, but it wasn't for the longest, and I ain't gonna worry about it. Um, so I wanted you to have a look and think about every, like I said, every yoni is beautiful. Every lingam is gorgeous, but they all have a secret how they get. Everybody wants to be the horseman or the pony man or the elk man. Nobody just wants to be a regular, impact looking small. The thing is, how do you work it? How do you make it your best? How do you make it become where you need it to become? You know what I mean? Like, how do you use it? Like I said, some women actually need to take classes on how to do a blowjob. Some men need to take classes on how to have oral sex with women because they don't know and they have to practice. And women have to practice as well. So, what do? There's people out there that can show you and not afraid. And I don't mean your partner. Sometimes your partner can show you, but if they don't know nothing, y'all both don't know nothing, you get with a sexologist. You get with a sexual teacher, a dakini, a daka, that can help both of you to understand your body and what it is to learn some of these things. You get what I like to call a sex coach. And that sex coach can also help you work some of your sex magic. That sex coach or sex expert, if you will be able to help you not only engage, but also having great communication with your partner and understanding with your partner that you're engaging with and what you're doing. And also be able to help you remove the other people that you've encountered sexually in your life, as well as remove the past relationships and the trauma that you've had in your life, that y'all able to come together and have a wonderful understanding, a beautiful connection. That's what I'm saying. These are things that need to happen to have a healthy relationship and not think about the chores while you're just laying there, like stuff like I used to do. Like, oh, it's there. I'm not in the moment. I'm not enjoying this. But when you enjoy and your partner enjoys, it brings magic, unbelievable magic. These are things that are important. So I hope you look at this video again. And if you have any questions, you always can write me, talk to me, and I'll be more than happy to walk you through it. And if you want to learn more, always go to drdmedphysician.com or go to Dr. D'Angelo, PhD on Facebook and book an appointment. You can go there. These are things that we explore, not just one, how to bring in that outer God to the world, how to bring out that inner goddess to the world. So in other words, I said it wrong. How to bring that inner God to the world. So, I think of everybody like that. So I hope you stay tuned at another time. It's been real. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for spending it with me. Bye.